Hey everybody. Hello, hello, am I live? Am I live? Can I get some confirmation here? I know I'm late. Not my usual setup, and this time I can genuinely say act of God involved. Like, from the bottom of my heart, I can honestly say there was an act of God involved. Sometimes I gaslight you guys. That is not the case this time. I promise in this case, it was out of my hands. Out of my hands. I also can't edit the stream time from my phone. Otherwise I would have. Not because it's not possible to do so, but because my phone is very old and bad, and YouTube Studio no longer works in it. So I'm sorry for the wait. Sorry for the generally later stream time period, but I'm back on the Eastern time zone for the time being. I'm back in my hometown, so yeah. All right, we're just going to get into it. We're going to get into it right away. No dilly-dallying. No dilly-dallying. No dilly-dallying at all. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into it. We're going to vote on the Egghead Island MVP. Simplest way to do this is by, first off, I need to take a look at the competition from last time. So we're going to take a quick peek back at how we did this before. Getting your phone, bro? Yeah, that's been the plan. The point that okay, how do I say this? I've been needing to get a new phone for some time, but I also have nostalgic attachment to this phone, despite it being so shitty. This is a Samsung Galaxy S8, so it is very, very old. So the turning point, I thought, was when the phone case broke. So when the phone case broke, I was like, fuck. Well, I don't want to, if I'm going to buy a new phone case, I might as well buy a new phone, right? Because, you know, you're not going to, like, it just seems so wasteful to buy a phone case if you're just going to, if the it's a sign that the phone is already at its last legs. It's been on its last legs for some time. So I was supposed to get a new phone case. But then, you know, I kept using this for a few weeks, and it turned out I don't need a phone case. So I've been using this without a phone case for probably, I don't know, a few months. And turns out phone case doesn't matter. I haven't really dropped my phone in a way that's broken it or anything. So phone case is okay. Then what happened next is Google Maps stopped working. So Google Maps stopped working, so I had to switch to Waze for a bit. For those of you who don't know, Waze is the worst app of all time, but it's the only alternative to Google Maps. So I had to use that for a bit. Then I was like, this might be the breaking point. Waze might break me. And then Google Maps somehow updated, and so I was back to being able to use Google Maps. So I was like, all right, so maybe it's not time for me to get a new phone yet. And now recently my banking app has stopped working. And this one might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Because when your banking app isn't working, I don't know, it's just like, it's just a pain. Like, sometimes you need to, like, there's checks and stuff, like, I can't just take a photo if I get a check for something, I need to manually go to a bank and deposit it. So yeah, that's its own situation. So this might be the thing that breaks me. It might be the banking thing. Anyway, all right. Kosh Panda is saying, you sure you can share your screen with the current setup? I believe so. I believe it should be doable. Let me close everything else that exists in the background. Yeah, I guess I'll just close everything else that exists in the background. That should do it. That should help. All right, so that's all gone. Yeah, we're just working with just whimsical, and that's it. So let's test here real quick. Let's test here. All right. Also, let's get the stream likes to 100 real quick. Brim, welcome to the Yonko. Thank you very much for joining. I appreciate it, man. Cigar Verk, I hope you look forward to the Morjcast that's coming out this week, and obviously the Morjcast that came out last week, all of that. Cigar Verk, thanks for being a Yonko to your member for 23 months, man. Bro, are you streaming from a banana cam? What is this quality? Catching a stream after a long time. Hopefully membership, money funds, streaming setup, JK. Okay, I'm not at my usual setup. You guys know this. You guys know that this isn't my usual setup. This is... My camera hasn't slowly gotten worse over time. It's not like my phone. I'm back at my parents' house right now. And usually when I'm at my parents' house, I stream from the basement. I'm not streaming from the basement this time. I'm actually streaming from my old room. So this is an insight into what my old room used to look like. It is now different looking, obviously, but this is what it was back in the day. This is it. This is the vibe. Lucky Man, welcome to the Pirate King tier. Holy shit, thank you so much. Watch out for the Pirate King podcast that comes out at the end of the month. You now get access to all previous Pirate King podcasts. Those are the best ones. Those are the ones where you get to the viewers submit things. They make me answer questions on all sorts of stuff that's like One Piece related, not One Piece related, comparing to other manga, stuff like that. So thanks a lot, Lucky Man. Thanks for joining. All right, MVP stuff. We are not just voting on MVP. That's not the only thing we're voting for. That's obviously going to be a very important thing that we vote for, but it's not the only thing. All right, first we're going to vote on a few other things. Here, let me pull up. Let me pull up for you guys. You guys need to understand the full scope of what we're going to be voting on. MVP might actually be last. I'm not sure. Also, some people are saying that I should react to the emu reveal. Not the emu reveal, the emu voice reveal. But I'm going to be honest, I already saw it on Twitter and I was confused, so I'll just leave it at that. I don't know. What the fuck are they going to do next episode? This seems like a very temporary fix in terms of, like, obscuring the voice, right? This works once. Is he just going to mumble the entire time? What's he going to do? What's he going to do after this? We need to hear a voice. All right, let's see. So last time what we did was, sorry, I'm pulling up right now. This will be a good test to see if the screen share works okay. Screen share will be a challenge, for sure. Oh, fuck. Hold on.
To their side, okay? I don't want to...
Okay. So looking at this... Hold on. I'm going to have to add some things too. Here, 1 second, please. What's going on here? So I have to add a new audio and a new video. Alright. So if I do this... Testing. You guys can hear me now? Alright, and we're just going to add the video also. Hopefully this doesn't break everything. Evil friend, I see you. Give me 1 second, man. Thank you very much for the support. Where we at? There we go. I know so much now. It's crazy. I know the things that will happen. I know the way that the stream will work. I know how to use the technology. Isn't this crazy? You guys see me adapt on the fly just like that? That was impressive in my book. All right. Here's what we're looking at. All right. Here is the gist of it. All right. We're gonna pick out most improved, sixth man, best character arc. Is everything still working here? Let me check if everything's still working here. I think everything's working here. Evil friend, thanks for the 10. You think Usopp dying is less likely after how Luffy reacted to Vegapunk's death? It might set Luffy back emotionally too much for the place in the story we're at. It would be like Ace 2. I think that's very, very possible. I think that we're at a place where I feel like there's just going to be a natural hesitance to use death in One Piece. Maybe if Oda plans certain things at some point in the story, I don't see him like necessarily... I don't know. It would be very, very hard for me to imagine Usopp dying and One Piece having the type of ending that Oda likes to have, if that makes sense. Let me just rearrange some things too here so that I'll still be able to see chat always. You know what I mean? Like, it's just very difficult to imagine that happening. So I'm going to put this here. I'll put this here so I can see it, and then it doesn't get into you guys' way. And then the other stuff we can do here. Yeah. All right, this will work. This will work great. This will work perfect. All right, perfect. All right, here we go. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking with fire or oil or whatever the fuck you cook with, right? Cook with something. I don't really cook. I use HelloFresh and Factor. All right. Okay. Yeah, now we're cooking. You guys don't know what I did, but I did some good stuff. Here, let me show you. Let me show the fruits of my labors. All right. Ready? You guys ready to see this? All right. So, oh, fuck, it's not working. Well, it's mostly working. Okay, so we can see stuff here, right? We can see stuff. So, we've got most improved, sixth man, best character arc, defensive player of the year, biggest bust, rookie of the year, coach of the year, play of the year. For some reason, we have best outfits, most assists, and MVPs. All right, so that's we're gonna run with that roster again. Let me catch up on these supers real quick. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that Usopp dying at this point, like the fact that he very possibly isn't even gonna kill Kuma, suggests to me that Usopp just might be too much. I think what we will see is Usopp conquering his fear of death. I think that's a significant thing that will happen in Elbaf. We will get some sort of storyline between Usopp and the prospect of death. I don't think Usopp will actually die, but I think that's where we're headed. Like maybe Usopp will offer himself as a heroic sacrifice, but then it won't actually happen. Maybe a la a nothing happened, but an Usopp version. And obviously different context and different stuff, but you get what I'm saying. Ooh, thanks for the tube. What if Imu-sama is literally possessed by demons? So I started seeing some theories about that on Twitter. Maybe. I think that'd be kind of wild if, like, Luffy at the end of the story is basically punching the shit out of, like, Vivi. I mean, it technically happened back in the Alabasta Desert, but that was different. That was like a squabble. This would be like Luffy just full-on, straight-up, like, bloody-fisted knuckles punching the shit out of Vivi's face. I think that'd be interesting. Unless maybe the possession breaks at some point. I don't know why that would be necessary for Imu to possess Lily. I just don't know why that would be necessary, but, you know, I think it's a possibility. Tom, thanks for the 5. No way Morj did an analysis on SBS character before the Wano analysis. Just kidding, Morj. Love the vids, as always. Advice on finding a One Piece YouTube niche. Okay, so finding a One Piece YouTube niche, that's very difficult right now because it's... Okay, so with the Wano analysis, by the way, I'm trying to work to finish it so that it will come out once I'm back from my trip to Iceland, which is happening next week. I'm going to be working that entire time during the trip to Iceland to hopefully try and get the Wano video done. It's a trip with my family, so we'll see. Like, I'm sure I'll have some degree of free time. I don't know how much, but the goal is going to be to try and finish the Wano video over the course of that. Also, it depends on the editor, the speed at which he's able to do things, depending on how I feed him things, and our images guy, and there's like a whole assembly line. But I think I can do it hopefully by the end of next week, and then it comes out hopefully on the 24th. So, finding a One Piece YouTube niche, it's tricky because it's very saturated right now, as far as I know. There's a lot of One Piece YouTubers that exist now that are newer in the last couple of years or so that I genuinely don't know, because the scene's become so big at this point. I don't know who all is doing what. There's a lot of new faces, a lot of like fast rising people, etc. I really don't know who all is doing what. I know from my era, and I guess a little bit after my era, I would suggest... I think it's got to be a mix, right? Like, I think ultimately it should be what you want to talk to. Two things. You need to be good at identifying what you bring to the table that's unique, that other people aren't doing already, right? So if you have really good theories or something, then, or you believe you got really good theories, then that's a way to work it. And then two, whatever that thing you're good at is, it would probably be helpful to look a little bit at like what other YouTubers who already exist doing that sort of thing have done that's successful for them in the past, but don't just copy it one for one because you want to feel unique, right? Like, so don't just copy somebody else's style. But those are the two things you can do, right? So you got to figure out what makes you unique, see if you're appealing to a certain type of fan base in the One Piece fan base, and then also see what other people who came before you who've done similar things have been able to make work. Isaac St. Charles, thanks a lot. Few things Vegapunk could do better with 2-week prep time. I think he did almost everything really well. I think just fucking tell the world government. I also think that he should have told Dragon some more information. That's my one thought. Like, tell on the world government. Reveal that the Celestial Dragons are behind it. I saw some people saying that, well, the world government themselves aren't necessarily the bad guys. So it's like, fine. Don't say it's the world government. Just say it's the fucking Celestial Dragons. Because he knows that they talked to Marijua. Like, he knows who it is. Also, I had this random thought, which is that Vegapunk doesn't want to speculate on things, so he didn't share certain information. But he did share that the whole world is going to flood. He's like, this is my prediction, a.k.a. speculation, right? So in the first place, he's already giving a prediction. And in fact, that prediction is one that he's got to have less certainty about than what has already happened, which is that he's already landed on like, oh, I'm certain that it must have been the celestial dragons who have the ancient weapon and who fired it, right? Then everything else, which is that, oh, well, they're going to keep firing it to the world floods, that's speculation. He doesn't have concrete proof for that, but he's fine sharing that speculation, but not like the thing that he's almost 100% certain about, or the thing that he says he is certain about, which is the world government having the weapon. Umir, thanks for the 2. Okay, Gotus is my era. Blood thinks he's Blackbeard. No, I mean, like, my era is in, like, you know what I mean? Like, just the period of time that I started. There's a lot of people who started during my time. You know what I mean? Like, that period of time. Like, I came after the Rogers base, King of Lightning, teching people, but a little bit before, like, Hidden Island, Paravision, stuff like that. I think I had started around the time, like, I came up around the time, like, obviously Miyohara, JD Legend. That was around the time that Brago started BDA Law and started working on that channel. So I'm more familiar with people who were like up and coming at the same time as me, or who were already existing before me, or came slightly after me. Then as time went on, I've stopped watching other people's YouTube videos as much, so I don't really know as much about the scene, like newer people on the scene. I know names because you guys mentioned names, but then I don't really know what a lot of people do because I haven't watched the videos. JWP, thanks for being a Pirate King tier member for 21 months. Yo, Morj, man, I just worked a 13-hour shift and then came home and wrote a 4-page paper. I'm about to get super high and watch the stream. 21 months, yes, sir. JWP, thank you so much for your fucking long-term support. I hope it is a good stream for you, man. You deserve some rest and relaxation. Coming home after a long shift and doing a bunch of work and getting high and just being entertained by a stream, I feel like that's got to be a good time. So I will try and make it a good time for you, sir. Thank you very much. Akash Panda, thanks for the 2. When will Bellamy give the Straw Hats their fireproof flag? I feel like Bellamy joining the Grand Fleet is something I'm definitely looking forward to officially. I do think that that's something that that will happen, or he'll have some significant character arc that leads him back to them in some way. I mean, he's already in the process of the character arc, but fireproof flag, I don't know about that. Dick so small, I piss on the walls, thanks for the 5. You haven't seen the Scabbard's hallway battle clip, have you? You got to pull that masterpiece up right quick. I think I've seen Kinemon doing some shit in a hallway. Like, I think I've seen that, and I thought it's really high quality, but I don't really care because there's no storytelling like that's that dramatic behind, the Scabbard shit. You know, I like Kinemon a lot, but like it's hard to get really pumped about like Kinemon fighting his way through fodder. You know, Bunfagum, thanks, and like the Scabbards in general, I don't give that much of a shit about. Bunfagum, thanks for the 7. Morj, why didn't Vegapunk fly away with the entirety of Punk Records before the Straws showed up? Only thing stopping him would have been York. For some reason, Vegapunk had basically decided that there's nowhere that he could fly to that he'd be safe from the world government. But then he chooses to do this other plan, which is him escaping from the world government, and like it seems as though he's not doing it with the expectation that they're gonna get caught. So I don't... Bunfagum, that's a really fucking good question. That's a question for Oda. Send that in an SBS, man. Send that in an SBS. Morj, you missed my super? I think I caught it now. Chris Morales says the ocean raising is measurable. Yeah, but the prediction that the ocean will keep raising is not, that's a prediction, right? He's measuring something that already happened, right? So he's like, the ocean raised. Then saying that means that the ocean will keep raising is based on the presumption that a weapon will keep being fired, which is a prediction which he cannot possibly be certain of, you know? If anything, the thing that he said that he is certain of is that it is the world government who has a weapon. And that's not even a prediction, right? That's also making a conclusion on something that's already happened, which is inherently less speculative. Because it has proof behind it as well, you know? And something that he's already certain of has happened, right? Umair, I thought I got you, man. Let me see. Let me try and scroll back a little bit. Umair says, what if... Oh, no, my bad. Umair says, what are some of your favorite Naruto fights and arcs? I actually like a lot of Naruto fights. Quite a bit. Some of my favorites are... and I'm sorry, Umair. Some of my favorites are... obviously, Gaara versus Rock Lee. I love Naruto versus Gaara. Naruto versus Gaara was really, really emotionally powerful for me. It's just a culmination of almost like everything that had been brewing since the beginning of the first arc, right? Like I think that is the arc actually. Like the Naruto or the battle between Naruto and Gaara is probably the battle that I think was when I felt the dynamic between Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura was the most, like, it paid off the most emotional dividends for me, because it was basically the culmination of this entire storyline of, Naruto being the one that's the screw up, and Sasuke being the one that's always good at everything, right? And like Sakura essentially being the third party through whose lens we kind of get the framing of of Sasuke as the really successful, talented hero, and Naruto as this dumb side oddball, goofball screw up, right? And all of that ultimately leads to like the Naruto versus Gaara fight, which is the first time that you just really see Naruto just have like Sasuke fumbling and screwing up, and he's like out of his depth, and he's shocked and scared, right? And then Naruto just steps up, and he does eventually rely on like the Nine-Tails chakra and stuff like that, but from start to finish, that fight just felt so fluid and in control by him, and he was just doing so many smart, intelligent things, and it was just like the first time that you really felt like Naruto's this, like, he has become this hyper-competent ninja, more so than Sasuke, right? You already got some of that during Naruto versus Neji, which I also really, really loved that fight, but I just felt that even more so during Naruto versus Gaara. And then, like, and Sakura being essentially, I forget, she was part of that fight as well. I think does she need to be saved or something? Or she was there in some context, I forget what exactly, but like, it just brought the whole thing full circle. And Sasuke watched, if I recall with his own eyes, like, how Naruto had essentially, like, Naruto was the one being the hero, and like Sasuke was the one who was basically caught, like, just with no sort of no sort of fallback. Like, he's the one that needs to be protected and saved and everything. And I love the way that all came full circle, and I love the way that, like, the thematic parallel between Naruto and Gaara, with Gaara's like Naruto coming full circle and embracing, like, coming into his own and embracing like this Nine-Tail chakra and everything that he's had, etc. And like really, like, just coming into his own in terms of like acceptance in terms of like how others view him, etc. All of that in the face of Gaara, who's faced very similar things and gone down a very similar path. Like, that was really powerful, and it's coming off the back of like Naruto versus Neji was really cool, because that was Naruto fighting another version of Sasuke, right? And then Naruto versus Gaara was really cool, because that was Naruto fighting another version of himself. So those two fights are phenomenal for Naruto, obviously, and I think just in general the Chunin exam arc is really, really brilliant writing. I honestly think that, like, Kishimoto is a fantastic writer. His flaw is planning, right? Like, Oda is really fantastic because he's good at writing individual arcs, and he's good at planning long-term shit, right? Kishimoto, that's not his strength. Like, a lot of things he outright admits are things that he just makes up as he goes along, right? So the Chunin exam arc is probably where a lot of his original ideas closed out. And then he's able to come up with more shit with, like, Itachi, Sasuke Gomu Orochimaru, things like that. Although that was already kind of planted. And so then part 1 still closes well. Naruto versus Pain I also really enjoy. Loki, I really like Shikamaru versus Hidan, and I really like Shikamaru versus it was Tamari, right? I like that one a lot as well. So pretty much all part 1, like, all of my favorite Naruto fights are part 1, and then Naruto versus Pain I also really like. Not the anime version, the manga version. Anyway. Like, you could definitely make the argument that peak Naruto writing is better in terms of like a lot of the way that it thinks out like certain themes, parallels, stuff like that. It's sharper, and like a lot of its dialogue is sharper than peak One Piece. You could definitely argue. One Piece still hits me more emotionally in general at its peaks. But you could definitely argue that peak Naruto is also similarly really good emotionally and has a bit more of a sophisticated writing style. I got a reminder of that when I read the Minato one-shot, because I read that, I was just like, yeah, Oda couldn't write anything like this. It's just that's not his forte. Oda's obviously much better in a lot other ways, and like Kishimoto obviously couldn't write like the vast majority of the things that Oda can write, right? But like, there's certain aspects to Kishimoto's writing style that it's just like, damn, like, you just get a reminder, you're like, yeah, he's really fucking good. When it gets too corny, too cheesy, and just doesn't have like good planning, that's when Kishimoto's shit falls apart, you know? Kanal Dashiwal, thanks a lot. Yo, Mope. Salary just credited, so my question is, Do you think the new Holy Knights is just Shanks and friends? That will be the twist of the year. And when will Luffy and Nami get married? Also hire me. I can't hire you, man. We've got a full team at the moment. I appreciate the pitch. I don't know if Luffy and Nami will get married, but I think in Oda's private little headcanon or something, it's very possible that, he views them as a love interest. Certain things suggest that, like the film Strong World. And I genuinely think that, like, at this point, there is a solid chance that Shanks' brother is the new leader of the Holy Knights, because the dad got promoted. The silhouette that we've been seeing as the leader of the Holy Knights seems very Shanks-esque. Let me do a quick poll before we get into the MVP shit. Is Shanks' brother the silhouette we've been seeing? Yes, no. I think this shit should be really close at this point. Yeah, not so crazy now, huh? 60%. Interesting. Justin Holland, thank you for the 10, man. Always good to see you. Saturn's replacement and execution for Jobo escaping plays up his fear of Luffy and Bonnie's potential, while somehow opening the door for Blackbeard's plans. It looks pretty fascinating. Yeah, Saturn basically fucked himself over and shot himself in the foot in a lot of ways this arc. And I think that there is a lot of symbolism to, like, the reasons that Saturn went down, and generally, like, what was his own undoing. And the fact that it, like, the Blackbeard parts is a great point too. Like, in that it wasn't just Luffy and the Strahd parts that Saturn inadvertently basically, like, due to his own incompetence, they were able to get away with so much this arc. He literally is going to be the reason that the Blackbeard pirates get a huge leg up in the world race, because now they can use him to command the authority chip, meaning pacifista, seraphim, like that. So Saturn royally fucked up. That dude was not Gorosei material from the start. So, damn, so 2/3 of people are on board. Akash Panda says, which silhouette more? A lot of silhouettes. You know what I mean, man. The one that with the one with the sword, the one that we've been seeing, like, in the big spread with all the characters. Same character that was at the center of the Holy Knights when Dragon was talking about them. That silhouette, All right, let's get to Egghead on MVP. Also, I don't want to click around on tabs too much, so I don't know what the stream likes are at. So whatever the stream likes are at, can we please get to the next benchmark? So if they're not at 100, can we get them to 100, please? All right, so most improved. Let's see. I'm about to be clicking around on some shit. Is this generally a new template? Seems like a new template. Yeah, this is a new template. Okay, this works. All right. JWP, thanks for the 5 gifted memberships. I hope that you're high right now. I hope you're ready to tune in. Everybody say thanks to JWP. I hope this is a fun stream for you, man. And it sounds like you've been working, like, non-stop for some time. All right, let's start. Seriously, JWP, thanks a lot. And Schmeedy, Poco Loco, Savage Cabbage, Morio Anime, and Omar, say thanks to JWP. Always coming through, man. Really appreciate it. Let's see. This is too big. Yeah, let's do this. Most improved. 6th man. Let me try and memorize some of these. Best character arc, defensive player, biggest bust, rookie of the year. Defensive player of the year. Biggest bust. I already forgot one. Sorry, my brain's working a little slow right now. Rookie of the year. Best character arc. Is that really a thing? Oh, god damn it. This is why I don't want to click around on tabs too much. One more time, right? God damn it. Here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to type it into chat so then that way I can just see it. Best character arc. God damn it. Lars Mango, thanks for the 7. Morj, what do you think the special attribute of the Buccaneers is? Vegapunk started speculating but stopped midway through. Bonnie for most improved. Bonnie's going to have a good shot at several of these. I think the special attribute of the Buccaneers has got to be something to do. So it's implied to be their bodies, right? I think a lot of people think that Blackbeard's a Buccaneer, and that might be related to why he's able to eat multiple fruits and such. So a lot of it's likely their bodies. But then on top of that, like the potential for them to have multiple souls or personalities stored in them or something like that. Because, we have Blackbeard with his two sisters, and Blackbeard never sleeps. We have Kuma with the implication that Kuma might somehow have been able to survive like the erasure of his consciousness. Like, there's some stuff there.
Rhizo, unless you really think...
All right. Coach of the year. Coach of the year, player of the year. I don't want to do best outfits. If we have time, we can do that. Coach of the year, player of the year, assists, MVP. All right. Player of the year? What does player of the year mean, though? Play of the year. Is it play of the year? Play of the year. Play of the year. I was like, player of the year. Play of the year. Assists. Leader. And then MVP. Outfits we'll see as a maybe. I don't know if we want to do outfits. It's like, who cares? Alright. Do you guys want to do outfits? We can do outfits. We'll do the outfits as a little bonus, maybe. Depending on time. Depending on time. Okay. All right, everybody. It is that time. We're going to get into voting. Also, what are the Streamlets at? Can somebody tell me what the Streamlets are at, please? I'm closing this out. This is closed out, so we can save some, I don't know, YouTube space. Morning Anime says highlight will definitely be Luffy holding Saturn and Kizaru. Play of the year is probably that. Does anyone contest? We can pencil that in right now. That is probably play of the year. No, because okay, I think the rule that we decided is no Luffy, right? No Luffy allowed. Can we? Are we agreeing? No Luffy allowed. 93. Okay, can we get the stream likes up to 100, please? Thank you. Sorry about the lack of knowledge on my part. I really just don't want to fuck around with the tabs. Yeah, can we say, I think no Luffy for MVP, right? That's just unfair. The dude just did too much. Yeah, no Luffy allowed rule. We can do Luffy for other things. So how about this? We'll do Luffy for play of the year. I'll specify no Luffy for MVP. No Luffy. JWP says more. Show the stream answers we did for Wano and explain how the categories work. I can do that. Here. It's a good idea. Let's frame it. Luffy is too easy, right? Like, Luffy did everything this arc. Luffy legitimately did more than every other Straw Hat combined. No, actually, this could be the one arc. I think this could be the one arc that Luffy could not win MVP, even if he was allowed. I think MVP is objectively Emeth, right? Sent all 5 Gorosei packing. It's kind of like how Zoe would also be an arc where Luffy's not the MVP. Zunisha would probably get MVP, right? I forgot best character arc. Did I forget that? Oh, I'm sorry. Here. We'll get to best outfits if we get to best outfits. I'll keep it down there as like a secret category if we have time. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think yeah, it's either Emeth or Joy Boy, right? It would easily be Luffy if it wasn't Mori Anime says, how do memberships work? How long will my membership be active? So right now you get access to emotes, all the emotes obviously, and you get access to the Morjcast, which is my weekly podcast that comes out just for members. It's about 20 minutes long each time. It's been 20, 21, 22 minutes for the last couple months or so. There have been times that it's been slightly under 20 minutes if I'm really tired, but usually about 20 minutes basically. Or if there's just like less material that week. So generally 20 minutes, a little bit over 20 minutes. So you get access to all of those. You get access to all the emotes and everything. And the membership should last probably a month, as far as I understand. Yeah, it's either Joy Boy or Emit. Linscop, thanks for the 2. Can we do both for strats and non-strats? It would just take too much time, man. Just take too much time. Also, I think most of the strats really aren't in the running this arc for a lot of these. You know, they were very sidelined, so I don't think we need to do that. So if we look at, as JWP suggested, if we look at, so we did a Morj's choice and People's choice. Yeah, that's a great way to do it. Morj's choice and People's choice. Great way. Great idea. All right. Old Morj knew what he was doing when he made this stream. So, we'll do Morj's choice and People's choice. Most improved is basically, you can interpret it different ways. I think most improved, like, Momonosuke was an easy most improved, right? But, like, most improved is essentially, you can either view it from a power scaling perspective, like who grew the most in terms of power this arc, or like who grew, I'd say utility. Treat most improved as utility, because best character arc is more so character growth, right? So who grew the most in terms of utility? Like who was kind of ass before and then improved in a certain way this arc, right? Sixth Man is basically, how do I say this? They're definitely not the MVP, but they're like a less focused on character. Like they're kind of a side character or more minor character who came through in a big way in the arc, right? I give Sixth Man to Yasue. I think Tama's a better Sixth Man. You guys are right about that. Best character arc is pretty straightforward. Who the best character arc? Defensive Player of the Year is kind of like who saved the most people, like who came through to protect the most people. Biggest bust is basically like who had the highest expectations on them, and then like from readers or I guess from narrative/readers, and then who failed to meet them the most. Rookie of the Year, new character that really sprang on the scene, like literally new character, and did the most. Coach of the Year, who really helped coach up a character into being a better version of themselves, right? Play of the Year, what's the single biggest highlight that a single character did? Most impactful, I think is the way to view it. Most assists, who lent a hand the most frequently to some other character to help them out. And then finally, MVP is just who overall was the most valuable to the success of the protagonist in the arc. Jack D. Slam, thanks for the 2. Joe got Saturn fired, literally MVP. MVP for sure. I think that's very, very MVP future site. View biggest bust is basically who had the most like narrative and I think generally reader-based expectations and then didn't live up to it. So I think that's why Kid, Usopp. I'm surprised people voted Usopp here. I think Kid was clearly the biggest bust in Wano, but you know, I guess Kid technically helped get Big Mom to the TNT that defeated her, so that makes sense. All right, starting from here, most improved. How do I even move this thing? This thing is annoying. Nah, whatever. I guess we live with it. Okay, most improved. So we got to add a Morj's choice and a People's choice. Morj's choice, and we'll do that in the color. We'll say my choices. We can do red. People's choice can be blue. How about that? Oh, can I just do this? Can I just change that? Okay, I gotta make another text box. Hold on. Sorry, guys. 1 second. All right. There we go. Okay. All right. We're rolling. Make sure that this whole thing extends as far as I would like it to extend. So this should go till here, and then I'm gonna add a new text box that goes like right here. Oh no, I think fuck. No, I fucked up. Hold on. This should be like this. Yeah, this should be like this. And this bad boy. Come on, man. Why is this doing this to me? All right. Please, I just want to do this. All right. Let me shift this vertically. All right. I guess that'll do it. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. We're doing it. We're doing it. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. We're getting into it. All right. So I'll just launch off each topic, right? That way, it's not just you guys voting. So I think the most improved character, and this is not from this is not a power scaling stance, or this is not a character stance, right? That's best character arc. No, because best character arc wouldn't be the most improved character. Those are two separate things. Most improved. I think most improved, actually, on second thought, it can include character and power level, right? So I think most improved is Bonnie. Bonnie got access to Nika powers, and she got a lot of character growth, right? What is the people's choice? Do the people agree with me? I think Bonnie's pretty straightforward, unless I'm missing somebody. No. I'm sorry. I actually got Kobe for most improved. I think I got Kobe for most improved. I think Bonnie having the Nika power is really cool, but I think that Kobe's honesty impact is kind of fucking insane, right? Like, I don't think anybody thought Kobe could do that before. Like, I think that both broke the internet and both broke the One Piece fandom in different ways. Because when Bonnie got the Nika power, everybody flipped out and was going crazy over that. But I remember when Kobe got honesty impact, people were also freaking out and were like, does Kobe have advanced Conquerors Haki now? What does this mean? People are like, this is BS. Both times people were like, this screws up the whole power system. The difference is that it turned out that Bonnie's was not that big of a deal. Like, she's not that strong. Whereas Kobe's honesty impact is just visually very similar to a fucking, very similar to, what do you call? Like Garp's Galaxy impact, Like, that was objectively, like, that level that we saw. I also think Kobe had a huge character growth as well. Bonnie had a huge character growth as well, but Kobe kind of took up, like, being the next future of the Marines. I'm not doing Sachi and Penguin. That's just not happening. Esteban Bureau says Kobe went from bum to the second coming of Garp. Yeah, the thing is, like, I don't know if people fucking remember. I kind of want to show. I don't want to show panels too much. It could potentially destroy the entire stream. I don't know if people remember, but, like, the Hachinosu raid began with, like, this is my vote, right? This is my vote. So who I perceive to be most improved. So the Hachinosu raid, if you recall, began with Kobe running around holding this metal ball and chain in two hands. It was the most pathetic sight I'd ever seen. It's like a fucking 5-pound ball and chain. Maybe 10 pounds. But he's supposed to be the next fucking, like, future of the Marines, right? This dude is running around like it's a fucking heavy-ass bowling ball for him. He's having to, like, use all of his... He's not helping anybody. It's not like he has sea stone cuffs on, by the way. It's just a fucking normal-ass iron ball and chain, right? He's, like, he doesn't have the fucking devil fruit, right? He's just a dude. He can't get out of his fucking iron ball and chain. He's just running around like he's fucking, like, a inmate number 58 or something from, like, level 2 of Hippo down, He's, like, the most helpless character ever. And then, like, 5 chapters later, he's destroying half the island with a punch. So, to me, from my perspective, Kobe was the most improved. Beppo's most improved? No, come on now. Beppo got lucky. That doesn't count. Daskarai, thanks. And Beppo didn't improve himself. He used Chopper's drugs. We don't condone fucking steroid usage here. You got to do it honestly. Honest impact. Daskarai, thanks for the 10. Hey, Morj, love your vids. Your Zoro hockey video inspired me to do a video on why Sanji's hockey is so underrated. It would mean a lot if you could check it out sometime. Been watching you for years. Thanks. Hey, thanks a lot for your first Superman. That's awesome that you just started a channel. That's really, really, that's fucking awesome. If I could check it out sometime, okay, link it to me on Twitter, and if you link it to me on Twitter, then probably don't have brain space for it right now, because after this I have to review the video of mine that's going up tomorrow, but at some point, it's, link it to me tomorrow on Twitter. If you do it today, I'll be 100% honest, I will forget about it. I'll probably see the notification, make a mental note, and forget about it. If you link it to me tomorrow, I may see it, and then I will open it up at some point and watch it on 2x speed, and then maybe give you some feedback. So that's all I got to say. But thank you very much for the support, seriously. And I'm happy to hear that, like, I was able to help you get started in your own content creation journey, I guess. MPA Slick, thank you for being a Pirate King tier member for 22 months, man. Holy shit. Senior Morj Freeman, I always love being called that. Hope you've been well. My something. Not gonna lie, Kuma better win a few of those categories without question. Get them likes up, chat. Yeah, what are the likes at? Can somebody update me on what the likes are? Kuma will definitely win several categories. That's guaranteed. Alright. So let's do the vote for most improved. Most improved. I think Bonnie's a simple choice. I think Kobe's a choice. I think I'll throw in Beppo. And I think that was pretty much everything everyone was saying. That's pretty much it, right? Wait, why can't I do this poll? Hello? Why can't I do this poll? Something's wrong. Oh, there we go. Okay. It's just not letting me scroll down for some reason. God damn it. Alright. Here. Alright, I don't know why it's doing this. Add option. This fucking disappears. Okay, no, it's back now. Okay, Beppo. There we go. Lucci for most improved. Kobe is at 52%. 50%, 52%, 50%. Yeah, this is tight. Alright, I'm gonna do this poll again and I'm removing Beppo. I think that's the answer. Most improved. Kobe, Bonnie. Let me just do it again. Oh, people are saying Lucci? I didn't think about that, but... okay, does most improved... I think most improved is over the course of the arc. You know, not like, oh, we met a character from before who is now stronger. I don't view... I mean, I think... Maybe I should have clarified, but I think over the course of the arc who improves the most. You know? So, like, it's either Bonnie unlocking Gear 5th, or not Gear 5th, unlocking Nika mode, or it's Kobe unlocking whatever the fuck level of hockey advanced hockey Honesty Impact is. Okay, it looks like Kobe's just about taking that. Alright, this is actually going to be very difficult. Oops. This is going to be very difficult, because now I'm realizing that, like, as soon as I'm adding Kobe in, that means that we're entering the realm of all these other characters from outside, it actually becomes very competitive. So suddenly Luffy's not even the clear-cut choice for a lot of these. Sixth man. I think the way it's very difficult. I think it's very difficult. Sixth man. Yeah. Sixth man basically means Akash Ben says Garling improved more. She became a Gorosei. That's true, but we don't know yet exactly. Like, we need some more demonstration of how strong he is. We're also in the post Egghead Island section. I'm not going to put him for most improved. Because, again, I think Kobe going from struggling to carry around an iron ball and chain that you or me or like the average human individual can carry to destroying an island, I think that's a pretty big jump. Sixth man is the hardest one to describe, but it essentially means a character that was really not prominent in the arc, and they're not in contention for MVP. Like, they didn't have high expectations, they didn't necessarily do that much, but they put in, like, it's the most difficult one to describe. Like, how to explain? Zoro and Sanji can never be, Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji can never be sixth men, because they have low expectations on them, they have high expectations on them every arc, right? Someone like Brook or a Frankie is great for a sixth man in terms of, like, coming through with more value than is normally expected of you. This arc is very difficult because we also have a lot of outside characters involved, like cutaways and shit like that. So it's kind of like, who even qualifies as a sixth man? Like, Kuma is too important in the arc to count as sixth man, you know? I think Frankie might have an argument for sixth man. Stussy has an honorable mention. Sentomaru has an honorable mention. Honestly, fucking King Cobra has an honorable mention. You guys think Frankie? I think Beppo has a good shot here. Yeah, this is a great one. This is actually very difficult. If I were to go with my pick, I'm going to give it to you guys first. This one's hard. I'm going to give it to you guys first. I don't think Kaku could qualify because Kaku really didn't do anything aside from free Stussy, you know? I'm not going to count the Vegapunks individually outside of York. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I'll just say Vegapunk in general. Actually, now that I think about it, with the Vegapunk bodies, it is literally like the sixth man, right? Like, it's a full fucking roster of like different. So like Vegapunk's the most, you know what I mean? Yeah, Dory and Broggy could count. Yeah, Dory and Broggy are great. I'll put Dory and Broggy together. Dory and Broggy, Beppo. I think we had Frankie in there, and Stussy was another one. This is actually a very fun arc to do because there's so many options to think about. I'm not doing any Vegapunks individually, largely because I don't personally fully remember what each one of them did. Vegapunk himself is just too important to count as sixth man. Dorian Broggy? Yeah, getting the escape route. I'd be inclined to agree. Van Auger? It's big. I mean, like, if you're counting Van Auger, why not count Katarina Devon, you know? Like, what's the difference there? He was everywhere this arc. He didn't really help in the law raid, though. Like, he didn't do anything against... If anything, that's almost like a point against him in that, like... He didn't stop Beppo, which was a very basic expectation for him, considering Blackbeard had to end up soloing Law after his crew did jack shit. And Van Auger's out there fucking fighting Shachi and Penguin, and and is unable to beat them fast enough to go help his captain, you know? Van Auger did help Blackbeard in the fight, but, like... we can talk about Van Auger when it comes to assists. I'm going to put Dory and Broggy here for myself. And then the People's Champ is Dory and Broggy as well. Okay, best character arc, I think, is tricky. I think best character arc is... Kuma has the best character storyline. I think Bonnie has a better... Bonnie grows more. Kuma has, like, a character arc is about change. Like, Momonosuke changed a lot over Wano. Kuma... changed. I think Kuma had a good character arc from childhood to adulthood, like the first few chapters of Kuma's backstory. He didn't change that much. Like, he did change. He changed in that initially he wanted to die. He was like, I don't want to be... Like, he was much more... He was a lot weaker in terms of spirit and spirit, like, sense of, like, just will to live, etc. much earlier. And then he grew into, like, once he picked up the Nika, or not the Nika fruit, the pawpaw fruit, and, like, realized that he was, like, he can save everybody. He can grow up saving people. That he had a lot of growth right there. So Kuma had a really strong arc. Oh, Kizaru! I got Kizaru. You're right. I'll put Kizaru. I'm sorry, I just forgot. I forgot. All right, there we go. Defensive Player of the Year, I think I got Garp. I think that's pretty much... I think it's very hard to argue against Garp because Garp had to fight the entire... Literally, Aokiji, like a Marine Admiral, and almost an entire Yonko crew single-handedly while having to protect his subordinates, right? He had to get them all off. Like, it was the most one-sided battle I think we've ever seen in One Piece in terms of, like, one character against, like, a mass of forces while having to basically babysit a whole squad of other characters. If you guys remember, I think a lot of people don't even remember this. The only reason that Garp even got stabbed by Shiryu is because Kobe was about to, because Kobe fell for a trap. So Garp had to jump in the way, take the stab wound for Kobe. Garp was doing, the crew was doing jack shit, you know? Emeth, I guess Emeth's, I think Emeth might be it. It's either Emeth or Garp, because Garp, again, there's no other character that really compares to what Garp did at Hachinosu. He had to do it for so long. Emeth had the biggest defensive play. It's Emeth. I agree. It's Emeth. It's just Emeth. Yeah. Emeth I'm biased against because it's just the hockey knot, but he did pull the hockey knot. Ultimately it's, Sanji? Sanji's not really... Sanji, if you just want to talk to Straw Hats, I think Sanji's in contention. I think the fact that Vegapunk died while Sanji was saving him is bad, but then Sanji had lots of other good moments. I think you're out of contention for Defensive Player of the Year after that, especially considering, right after that, you got, Luffy grabbing Saturn and Kizaru at the same time. I think it's hard to give an argument for Sanji. You could maybe give an argument for Sanji compared to the rest of the Straw Hats that weren't Luffy. But then, once you're including, what Garp did on Hachinosu, nothing that Sanji did is, even remotely close to what Garp did on Hachinosu. And then once you include Emeth, it's just not fair, you know? Vote? I can do a vote. Yeah. Yeah, let me do a vote for chat. Sorry, I thought everyone was saying Emeth. Defensive Player of the Year. Emeth, Sanji, Garp, JWP, thanks for the 2. You're forgetting to let us vote, Morjman, Omafio. Kizaru, people were saying there's no need to vote because it was just so unanimous. I thought I was kind of getting that vibe for Defensive Player of the Year as well, because I was seeing so much Emeth, but I guess I think I might have overestimated that. Yeah, I think Emeth just... Oh, no, it's fucking close between Emeth and Garp, actually. It's a good thing I let you guys vote. I'm biased towards... I think objectively it's Emeth. I personally think it's close. I'm going to roll this again with just Emeth and Garp. I don't think... I think if you just wanted to do Straw Hats and excluded Luffy, then Sanji, you could get in discussions with him. But if you're talking about, overall, it's not even close between Sanji and... what Garp did is one of the most impressive 1v everybody, battles that we've ever seen in One Piece. And again, the only reason that he even took damage was because he had to literally, he was doing so much work holding everybody off, and he still had to, jump in because Kobe was an idiot and fell for a trap. And then Garp still, he literally had to put his body on the line because his own, it's fucking J.R. Smith type shit. LeBron's carrying so hard, and then Kobe's fucking throwing the game away, falling for a random dumb trap. And that's what it took for Garp to take a hit, because he had to, even though he's holding everybody off with one hand, then he sees Kobe fucking, about to fall for a trap. And so then he has to literally throw his body in the line of fire, take a significant handicap and, fucking gigantic injury, because he's having, it's not enough that he's having to, hold the weight of the world on his shoulders. His subordinates are actively screwing him over and basically making it even more difficult for him. So I have a lot of empathy for Garp in that situation, but I do think that objectively Emeth, just the hockey knot's too big of a deal. And Emeth was fighting the Five Elders too, so I agree with that. I'll do the poll one more time with Emeth and Garp. I already made my pick. I think it'll be kind of crazy that Garp might go this entire, he might go through this entire thing without getting a W. But I think actually I've got Garp for Coach of the Year. I think Garp's got a great shot at Coach of the Year. I think Garp probably is a great shot at Coach of the Year, so you might get that. It's just that this arc had too many standouts, you know? Too many standouts. It should be Joy Boy, not Emeth. I don't know. Vote, like, decide how you want to decide, you know? Iris is, oh, I don't know why I read it like that. Iris is more, do you think defensive can be Shanks for stopping Kid before damage was done? That is an all-time great defensive play. Like, that's an all-time great defensive play. Because the amount of damage that was about to happen was basically all of his fleet dies. We're going to run this poll one more time. All right, everybody hold your votes. Everybody hold your votes. We're running this one more time. I'm sorry. It's got to happen. Shanks is getting thrown in. All right. Defensive player of the year. Emmet, Garp, Shanks. The Divine Departure was really a chase down block. It was a chase down block. Akash Bandis' best defense is good offense. Yeah. I think just the fact that he saw into the future to save his entire fleet is a big deal, right? You could argue that it's just against Kid, whereas Garp and Emmet obviously had to do it against much harder opponents. But you could also argue that number of lives saved, Shanks did the most. And then the cool factor of doing it from the future. So I think there's three-way options, right? So I think objectively, I think this is a great, this is a values thing, right? This is a values pick. So objectively, Emmet did the most. Because stopping 5 Gorse at the same time, plus a narrative context of saving our protagonists and thereby allowing the entire story to continue, that's objectively the biggest impact, by far. Not really close, right? But then the way that you could take away from Emmet is argue that it wasn't really, like, it was Emmet, but he was, like, he's carried by somebody else's hockey, and he's just undoing that hockey. So it depends on, like, you can dock him points like that, right? Then you have Garp, who through his own strength, had to do the hardest job, and the most impressive job, and one of the most, like, maybe the single most, like, through one's own strength, prolonged defensive runs against the hardest opponents in the entire story, right? Against an entire Yonko crew, almost plus an admiral, while his own subordinates are screwing things up and causing him to take damage, right? So he's having to do all that, right? So Garps is really impressive, and then Shanks has the most cool factor and the most lives saved, and, you know, just the future sight aspect. You could argue that has a very unique, like, well, that's just the ultimate defensive play. Literally seeing into the future to see what's going to happen and stopping it before it happens. So there's arguments for each. It's a lot of what you value. I think this is a really good one. It's a lot of what you value. I'm gonna take Emmet off this till the poll is done. Esteban BR says Emmet was protecting an emperor plus a giant screw, 2 of the most feared crews in the world. Garp is defending bums. Yeah, but again, like, the argument against Emmet, you can't objectively argue against Emmet. Also, holy shit. June, oh no, never mind. I misread that. June, thank you for being a Pirate King tier member for 20 months, man. Seriously, thank you for rejoining. You can't objectively argue against the Emmet's impact, and what he did it against was the most difficult, right? 5 Gorse. Saving all the strats. The only argument against him is, like, the Joy Boy aspect, you know? Okay, so not a lot of people have value for Shanks. Ah, shit. I'm gonna do I'm rolling Garp and Emmet one more time. I think I screwed things up by adding Shanks in where maybe he didn't belong. Okay, one more time. Everyone ready your votes, right? I'm gonna be quiet. We're rolling the votes one more time. One more time. I don't know if I've been spelling Emmet's name correct or not. Remix King, what you saying? What's going on here? One more time. Remix Gang, thanks for being a Yonko tier member for 19 months, man. Bro, can you just add a category for best defensive play? No, then it's just too many categories, and then I gotta add best offensive play, things like that. Also, just built my first... The idea is that this is supposed to somewhat mirror actual, you know, like, NBA categories. All the, like, biggest bust is something that people discuss, Coach of the Year, etc. Like, the only thing really out of, like, not really significant here is best character arc. Also just built my first gaming PC. Any game recs? My favorite games are League of Legends, Celeste, and Guilty Gear Strive. Oh, so you like fighting games and stuff, right? I mean, you could just pick up Street Fighter or something, right? League of Legends, I don't know anything about that. You could pick Dota or something like that, right? Celeste, my friend who passed away was really into Celeste at the time that he passed away, I remember. So he's like, he beat the game and was trying to do all of the additional challenges or something like that. He did something, I forget. He'd completed all of the main challenges, I forget. And was trying to do the additional stuff. Game Rex, I mean, I don't know a ton about games, so I would recommend like Elden Ring, Souls games, stuff like that, because I'm going to play Elden Ring next, so I'm obviously going to enjoy hearing other people's thoughts on Elden Ring. But yeah, the Souls games, Sekiro, those would be my recommendations. All right, it seems like after much deliberation, Garp takes it for Defensive Player of the Year. I'm still, like, I made plenty of arguments for Garp. At the end of the day, I'm still keeping Emeth as my pick, just because I think objectively he did the most, but I agree that it feels foul because it's not really his own doing, you know? Biggest bust, for me it's easy, it's Kid. I know a lot of you will say it's Zoro out of a joke. I think you could make the argument for Frankie based on expectations, but I just remember what everyone was saying back when the Kid versus Shanks thing was lined up. I was excited for it as well. It was a heavyweight matchup that was like one of the most anticipated One Piece showdowns, period. And I don't think a single person, from what I can recall, genuinely thought that it would be a one-shot. I know a lot of people thought it would be like low diff, but I don't remember anyone saying it was a one-shot. I don't think it's close beyond Kid. Zoro should have done better against Lucci based on what all Zoro fans were saying. You know, like, according to Zoro fans, because I remember Luffy fought Lucci, and I remember after that, like, there were just a lot of discussions in the arc after that about like how Zoro would do against Lucci, and the consensus seemed to be that Zoro would low diff Lucci, like Zoro would destroy Lucci. That was generally what was talked about. Then Zoro gets to fight Lucci, and again, everybody is saying once that fight started that Lucci is screwed and Zoro's gonna like destroy him. Then you cut to like 20 chapters later, and Zoro's still like huffing against Lucci, and the goalposts have been just shifted so far that like the cope just became insane as to how this isn't actually embarrassing or anything. Akash Bandit, thanks for the 2. Luffy for Coach. He coached Bonnie during the arc. I agree that Luffy has a great argument for Coach. I'm probably going to go ahead. That'll be up to you guys to vote. I'm probably going to give Best Coach to Garp. Best Coach to Garp. I think because you had 3 generations of coaching that are coming into fruition during the Hachinosu raid. The entire, like, Battleship bags and the shit that we talk about, right? Like, that's all Garp throughout Kiji to Kobe. It's just the sustained coaching, and you could argue that Luffy did more coaching for Bonnie in the arc itself. He barely coached her. Like, he did just bring out the best in her, that's true, but Garp also brought out the best in Kobe with the honesty, impact, and everything, and I think a lot of that was just the leading by example, getting Kobe to get that, like telling them that you're the future of the Marines, etc., right? That's what really brought that out of Kobe at the end of the day. I just think you saw the fruition of Garp's prolonged coaching, and then also just the leading by example is what brought out Kobe's honesty impact. And the thing is, like, it wasn't just Kobe, right? You had the other characters in the squad as well. I would love to pull up panels right now because I think I can make my argument better. But the other characters in Garp's squad as well were asking, like, Garp, can I also be the future of the Marines? Like, you could literally see Garp inspiring that entire generation right there and just, like, passing the torch in a way that I think is beyond what Luffy did. Because Luffy inspired Bonnie, yes, but I think it stops right there. And Luffy's coaching approach was it wasn't really coaching, you know, like, it was like, I'm Nika, you can be Nika too. She's like, I can be Nika too, you know, like, whereas Garp's, it's like, he's been coaching these characters for decades and decades, like, the battleship bags, the hard physical training, training them in hockey, etc., all of it's paying off right then. And like that was like his final lesson. Like that entire Hachinosu raid was his final lesson, and just leaving them with inspiration for the future. And they all showed out in that battle, right? So I think you could say Luffy Coach of the Year. I think I strongly skew towards Garp, but we'll do a poll for that. Philly Stew, Blackbeard biggest bust, huffing after jumping Law. I think that's funny because you know my feelings on Law, but I still think it's just Kid. Based on, like, nobody thought it was going to be a one-shot, you know? Tom, thanks for the 2. Terrible defodder Flaw and useless Crafton mid versus Dynamite. The Dynamite would take it, because the Dynamite can defeat Yonko, you know? And they most certainly can't, as far as we've seen. JWP, thanks for the 5. The kid one-shot was one of the few times I thought spoilers were fake. Fuck you mean he saw 10-second future sights and used Roger's move to take out Kid and Killer. Yeah, I think it might have been a minute, so people have forgotten just the level of fucking insane shock that had on the readership and community and the ripples that sent. But I remember, I think that it's not really a question that, like, that was the most shocking turn of events. Not the fact that Shanks won, but how he won. That was the most shocking turn of events in a single, like, matchup that we've seen in the entire arc, you know? Like, Zoro going medium diff with Lucci instead of, like, low diffing Lucci, you know, that's more embarrassing than what people expected of him. But Kid and Shanks, the idea that after all that buildup and all that shit talk from Kid, and the fact that he's had a target on Shanks' head since fucking Dressrosa and been talking about taking out this guy, and he's come away with from Wano with a 3 billion berry thinking that he's, like, hot shit, and, like, people are talking about Kid as though he's, like, you know, like he's on that trajectory, like, law to eventually get to a certain level and stuff like that. Like, people at such high, like, nobody thought it was going to be a one-shot, right? So for that to just happen, I think it's just easy biggest bust. It was just the level of shock is unmatched, which means that if it's the level of shock is unmatched, that's the simplest metric for, like, oh, that means that this went the hardest opposite direction that we could have thought, which means that that's how you would define, like, biggest bust. You know what I mean? Like, that's generally how that's defined in sports terms. Like, in terms of what you thought would happen, it was so much worse that it wasn't even on the radar. That's biggest bust, you know? Ramen Stains, thanks for the 5, man. Coach goes to Luffy or Kuma for me. Being the best dad is like being a good coach. But with Luffy, we see the actual coaching on display. Yeah, I can see that. Well, I could throw Kuma in. Cigar Verg, thanks for the 5. Emu MVP, killed Cobra, Saturn, and Lucia, got Mother Flame, ended Sabo in one blow. Did recruitment. Why does one forget attacks that ended Lucci was just 2 swords? Because it's not about the fact that it, like, sure, it's cool that he ended that way, right? It's the fact that, like, once you're going a certain length of time, and it's not like you're toying with the opponent because you're panting and breathing heavily, like you're huffing, you're sweating, etc., and you're sustaining some injuries or whatever. At that point, it's like, yeah, it's cool that you ended that way, but it's not like a low diff, and the idea was that everyone was saying it would be a low diff from the start. Not everyone, but a lot of Zoro stands were saying from the beginning it would be a low diff. You know? Alright, let me do the vote. Biggest bust vote. Who am I putting in? Biggest bust. Oh, you could throw in Saturn, because Saturn was really Saturn is actually a pretty big bust too, in my opinion. Saturn is a big bust because the amount of hype that he had going in to what he turned out to be is like the weakest Gorosei and the one that, like, fucked up all the time. I think that's something else. Stephen Guy, thanks for being a Pirate King tier member for 2 months, man. The world as a whole would look at someone like Luffy as evil. Do you think that may be the reason why Lilith is called evil due to Vegapunk's prior misconception of what evil is? That's a really interesting concept. That's a really, really, really interesting concept. I hadn't thought about it like that. I think we can wait and see a bit more of what Lilith actually represents in the context of the story, because maybe she reflects certain desires that aren't actually evil. It's just in a certain light or certain, like, very rigid perspective would be viewed as evil, but, like, if you viewed it through a different perspective, it's just not too far off from, like, the way that Luffy thinks and acts. I think that could be really cool. Alright, seems like Kid wins biggest bust. Alright, we need some more spice. We need some more differences in opinions here, right? Rookie of the Year, I mean, it's just Bonnie, right? Oh no, Rookie of the Year means new character. Rookie of the Year has to be a new character. Fuck. That's how we defined it in Wano. That's why Odin won. Rookie of the Year. New character. So Kuma's out. I'd say Vegapunk, right? Vegapunk. At the end of the day, he did a lot, right? Is there anyone else? K-Minus says, read to the pole more to add Dragon. It's not... Dragon wasn't even in the arc, though. Like, he didn't do anything that was disappointing, you know? Like, he just didn't play. It's gotta be Vegapunk, right? Oh, wait, no, maybe it's Emeth. I think it's Vegapunk. Just, I felt like overall, like, Emeth had a huge play, but Vegapunk had more impact overall. Garling, Rookie of the Year. Garling didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. Okay, I'll throw Garling in, but, I mean, that's your guys' vote. Cheesy Skull, thanks for being Yonko team member for 3 months. Doll, Rookie of the Year. All right, why'd you pick Doll? Why not that guy with, like, 50 chins? I'm curious. All right, I see the votes. All right. Rookie of the Year. New characters only. Right? If you're talking about, like, coolest new character. Fuck, does Rookie of the Year mean coolest new character? Okay, let's do this poll first, because I kind of forget how we defined it for Wano. What should Rookie of the Year mean? Most impactful new character? Coolest new character? Dick so small, a piss on my balls, thanks for the 5. Might be controversial, but the biggest bust should be the Straw Hats. They didn't secure apocalyptic combo of York and Mother Flames for the Elders. I think the idea is that this arc is supposed to be viewed as a triumph for the Straw Hats. They did their personal goal, which was trying to get Vegapunk out of there. I don't think they even had, from what I recall, I don't know if the Mother Flame was even on their agenda. I might be wrong, I've forgotten that. Most impactful new character, okay. Okay, so it looks like we're going with that. Mahavat Sadegi, thanks for the 2. Simp of the Year to the guy who selected Doll. Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, Emu's not new to this arc. Adam says impact can be integrated in coolness, no? Yeah, it's like one of those squares and rectangles type thing. You know? Like, this is... All squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares, right? So, coolest new character, most impactful criteria can apply to coolest new character, but coolness should not affect most impactful, you know? One is within the other. One is a subset of the other. Okay, so most impactful is what Rookie of the Year means. I'm going to go Vegapunk. What do you guys think? Bonnie's not considered a rookie because she's not a new character. It gets to too much gray area if you start just doing characters that, like, suddenly had an elevated role but aren't technically new. Is Vegapunk all the punks or only Stella? We're counting all the Vegapunks except York in that category. I don't know why, the logic behind it. I just, don't worry about it. That's just what I decided, okay? Vegapunk, people wanted Garling, people wanted Emeth, right? Sorry. Ramen Saints, thanks for the 2. Sanji for bust, let's sell a die to Kizaru. I think that was disappointing for a lot of Sanji fans. I think the timing of it was really bad. I think the timing of it was also really, really bad because Sanji had just blocked Kizaru's laser and prompted that shocked expression from Kizaru, right? So that was that was the coolest Sanji moment in eons, right? Well, not eons, but since Wano, right? Throughout the arc, that was Sanji's coolest moment. Sanji also had a really cool moment against S-Shark. Miss Cigarverk Super, I'm sorry. Let me catch this. Cigarverk, thanks for the 2. How is Emu not Rookie of the Year? Because Emu was introduced in chapter 907, right? Yeah, it was bad timing for Sanji because, like, the Sanji fans' expectations went sky high after Sanji blocked Kizaru, and then the next chapter is Kizaru just killing Vegapunk while Sanji's got Vegapunk. So that wasn't, like, a good feel. Like, you can make all the clarifications and reasoning and, like, get into semantics of, like, well, Luffy technically said, just take Vegapunk, or, like, whatever. But it's still not a good look. And it was probably one of the most extreme, like, fan expectations skyrocketing to just, like, plummeting. like 180s that I've seen in a long time, but I still think that Kid overall was the bigger bust, and I think that Sanji contributed a lot in other ways. Nate Nostalgic says, missed my super while back, Morj. I'm sorry, man. Let me see if I can catch it. If I can't scroll all the way back, can you or somebody please repost it? I'm sorry about that. Normally I can access all the previous supers, but I can't with this current stream setup. It would just fuck with the internet too much. Bassam El Madawi, thanks for the 10. Emu is a mangaka. He drew crazy forms for the Gorosei. Nika Fruit counters it. Oh, I see. It's one of those theories again. Nika Fruit counters it, i.e. Luffy fighting in the negative space of the manga. I think Vegapunk's tech plus turning Stussy and Setomaru makes him MP. So I've heard people, like, when Emu crossed off the map, I remember a lot of theories went around of, like, what if Emu can control the manga itself? But then it turned out it's firing the ancient weapon. So I'm slightly less inclined to believe that now. Maybe the fact that Emu can create other beings, like, or give powers to other beings, that implies some other sort of godlike ability. But I don't know if it's going to be necessarily, like, a mangaka ability at this point. It's hard to say. Vegapunk's tech plus turning Stussy and Setomaru make him MVP. I don't think it's big enough for MVP necessarily. I think we can get to that argument when we get to that. It's just, I think his role overall was so minor, it's hard to say. Nate's Logic. Oh, thanks, Nate's Logic, for the $2 super. Thanks a lot, man. Buggy for Coach of the Year, not joking. Oh, shit. We could get to that discussion when we get to that discussion. So it seems like Vegapunk wins Rookie of the Year. All right, fair enough. All right. Coach of the Year. So, I mean, I'm going to say Garp again, personally. I think that if you read the Hachinosu Raid, the Hachinosu Raid is literally written like the whole storyline and the character dynamics, etc., around it, like, it is literally a storyline that's built around the concept of, like, one generation coaching the next, and then, like, that flow of coaching the future generations. Like, that is that storyline. That's what it's all built around, right? Like, Garp showing the Marines what it means to be the future of the Marines, all of them stepping up by the end of that raid to say, like, we're going to be the future of the Marines, like, we're going to take this torch from you, Garp. Like, all of them asking at the end, like, hey, can I be the Garp son? Can I also be the future of the Marines? I think he got everybody there to step up. Kobe in a huge way. I kind of just give it to Garp because I think that was his whole role. I think Luffy's got a great argument as well with Bonnie, in that he showed Bonnie, like, here's how you be free and everything. I think that was really, really, really good. I think Garp's is just a bit more broad and more influential in that it was both in the moment coaching for, like, his entire squad, and then also the Hachinosu Raid in itself was, like, storyline-wise, it was about the storyline of Garp's prolonged coaching across the years or decades and decades of the Marines, between the battleship bags, like, first training Aokiji and then moving on to Kobe. Like, it was about the battle of master versus disciples, etc., and how he shaped, like, unknowingly, he shaped Aokiji in the right path as well. Like, Garp just doesn't recognize it yet, but Aokiji is on his own mission. He's, like, freed himself from the world governance mentality. And then Garp's also shaped Kobe, who is set to be the new future of the Marines. And I think that arc was, like, Garp's final, like, lesson to all of his subordinates, you know? Primarily Kobe in that squad, but you know what I mean. So I think this Coach of the Year, just the storyline itself was about Garp, the coach, and his disciples, and his final lessons to them, you know? So I think it's hard for me to put Luffy above him. Do we have anybody else? People mentioned Buggy. If people want to throw in Buggy, we can throw in Buggy. I can throw in Buggy, just don't vote for Buggy as a joke. I don't feel Buggy is coaching his subordinates, because, like, he did give a speech to Crocodile and Mihawk that was, like, a coach-type speech, but it wasn't, they don't, like, they're still not, like, yeah, it's, like, a cool eye-opening speech, but he's not, like, they still are not really treating it as, like, stuff that they're now forced to go along with it as consequence, but it's not like they're legitimately taking that in as wisdom from Buggy that they're now going to change, their character. They're going to pivot their philosophies and character lives towards that, Lars Caesar says Mihawk and Crocodile will be on board by the end. Then it depends on if you like view that as the big coaching moment being now, being that impactful, or in the future, you know. But we can throw Buggy in. Schmeedy G says literally brought the vision back to the team. I think it's just, to me, it's because it's the fact that like they're not actually going along with it. They're just having to go along with it because, like, to me, actual coaching means that you move the characters internally. Like, he might have spoken some grains of truth to them that might eventually have an effect. I should hope that they do eventually have an effect because I like to see character growth for those type of characters. But I just don't view it as clear, concrete coaching as like with Garp to Aokichi, Garp to Kobe, Garp to all those all those Marines. So that's up to you guys how you want to interpret coaching, you know, or like the impact of coaching. Let's do it. Buggy had the best speech. I definitely think best coaching speech. I do think Buggy has a good argument. I should say that. I think there's a good argument. Nate's Logic 2 says, yeah, but the rest of the crew believes in him. But they already believed in him anyway. I don't know. Like, it's kind of like if Luffy just tells the rest of the crew, like, if Luffy tells the Straw, it's like, hey, we're going to go to Skypiea next or something, or like, we're going to go to Sky Island next. And they're all like, all right, we're going to Sky Island next. I don't view that as coaching. That's just a captain saying, like, hey, this is what we're doing next, you know? Like, they're already worshiping him like a god, you know? JWP, thanks for the 5. Buggy's flashback where he thinks Shanks is supposed to be the next king is arguably my favorite moment of this arc. Kuma flashback, it's really underrated. That was also one of my favorite chapters. I genuinely love the Buggy chapters. Chapter 1082, right? The Buggy chapter, Crosscode chapter, like, that was phenomenal. And I think around that time, I think I might have dropped a video, or at least I was talking about how, like, Cross Guild is my favorite thing in One Piece at that point in time. It's just the most fun and unpredictable group of characters to go to because their motivations are so muddy at the moment and their direction is so confusing, but they're all cool characters. Sorry, they're all cool characters to follow. Like, I want to see what Mihawk does next, you know? What Crocodile and all of them do. Okay, so Buggy made some waves, but not quite enough. I guess Garp takes it. Play of the year. I'm going to begrudgingly give it to Emeth. What do you guys think? What's play of the year to you guys? Off the top of my head, I think play of the year, if I didn't have Emeth, I would have Luffy grabbing Saturn and Kizaru. I think that single moment is the most insane feat that we had seen in all of One Piece. Genuinely. All of One Piece up till Joy Boy's Haki. Genuinely. No, because it was a feat that nobody thought any character could actually do. Nobody thought that there was any character who could handle 2 Admiral level opponents with ease at the same time. That just did that restructured how everybody talked about that just changed the game. If you want to go back and look at the conversations that came out after that, people were just like absolutely shocked. There were a lot of people saying that Luffy had at that point already passed up. It's possible he's already passed up all the current Yonko alive and his father. Like, that was how extreme that moment was. Garp is obviously huge because he's got the extended play. Vegapunk's message. I think Vegapunk's message has a good argument as well. I think I'm going to give it to Vegapunk. I think I'm going to give it to Vegapunk because it's not just the speech. It's the entire play to me started a week ago, right? Or 2 weeks, whatever that time frame was, right? It was when he planned out the whole thing. Even though Vegapunk fucked it up in terms of, like, not talking about the Celestial Dragons, he still did so much other stuff that it's like, I'm still going to give him the play. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like if LeBron drops 40 points, but then for some reason refuses to go to the free throw line at the end of the game, even though that's like the one thing he needs to do to seal the game. I'm still going to be upset, but then at the end of the day, it's like, well, he still dropped 40. You know what I mean? Like, he still did all this other shit. I think I give it to Vegapunk because because of the planning involved. Like, once the planning chapter dropped, I was just like, all right, just the whole chess master move was just too, it's just too much on top of everything, you know? I don't know. And you guys know how much I critique Vegapunk's speech, right? So it's taking a lot, trying to be as, I think I'm very begrudgingly having to give it to him, you know? Like, it's not like a pick that, it's not a biased pick, this is the opposite of that. Jamal, thanks for bringing Yon Couture for 18 months, man. Kuma punching Saturn was play of the year for me just because he came in so clutch to save Bonnie. I think emotionally we could throw that in. Okay, so this is going to be a hard, this is a lot. This is going to be a lot, right? Right, so let's see. Play of the year. This is going to be a lot. So let's start with Luffy grabbing, well, not even grabbing. Luffy handling Saturn versus Kizaru 2v1, right? We can throw Shanks' Divine Departure. I think in terms of cool factor, I think some people have it as play of the year. I don't think in terms of objective impact it's there. Let's say Shanks. I'll throw in Shanks' Divine Departure. Emeth pulling the knot. Then Vegapunk planning the speech execution. Oops. Oh, Honesty Impact should also possibly be in there. There's a lot. Synesthesia Sasabo versus Gore Say Nothing. What did he do? This is like this is like why Sabo fans are like the most annoying fans. He literally didn't do anything. What did he do versus the Gorosei? He attacked them and nothing happened. That's not a play of the year. Any character can do that. I guess he saved Cobra. Oh wait, he didn't. What was his play? Like, just being in the room and running away, I guess that's a good play, I guess. But I feel like it doesn't really compare to, you know, like it just doesn't compare to the other plays, you know? This is tight. I shouldn't have even put Shanks' Divine Departure in there. It doesn't deserve to be there. It really doesn't. J.M. Liu says Sabo is protected by an old man who is wheelchair bound. Akash Panda says Morj Cobra saved him. Yeah. Redo with Galaxy Impact? I don't think Galaxy Impact's gonna make it. I don't think it's worth redoing. I'm gonna do I think Vegapunk's speech takes it. Because Galaxy Impact was really cool for effect, but it wasn't against any actual character. You know, like, it didn't... And it just kind of got the fight going. Alright, assist leader. So, this is kind of like who helped out... Who came in to, like, help out characters the most frequently. Does that make sense? Like, not even necessarily save, but just, like, give a hand to characters the most frequently. Cigar versus Morj, missed my super chat. Again? I swear I just got it, man. I swear I just got one. Oh, no, never mind. I'm sorry, man. Cigar, I'm sorry, man. Lucia N to start Great Flood, play of the year. That is a crazy play of the year. But it's like the bad guys play of the year. I don't want one on the poll again for... Do people think I should run the Lucia Kingdom Destruction again for play of the year? It is maybe the most insane thing that happened in the arc, right? Like, just as a single act. It was to the point that I didn't even believe it. I thought that they didn't go through with it initially. I thought it was like I thought that there might be some Oda, like, slide little workaround to it or something. Joy Boy for assist? I think Joy Boy would be perfect for assist. Because Joy Boy, like, he's the one who assisted Emeth. Emeth executed, Joy Boy assisted. But Emeth is the one, or Joy Boy gave the alley-oop. I don't know. Yeah, you could say Sanji. I think it's just Sanji or Joy Boy, but it's probably just Sanji. Kosh Bandits is summoning 5 elders play of the year. Oh, fuck. Yeah, there's some good bad guy ones. There were some good bad guy ones. Ah, shit. Okay. Should we... Okay. So does Lucia Kingdom Destruction and summoning the 5 elders count for play of the year? Because summoning the 5 elders was insane. Like, that was a really, really cool move. Just didn't lead to anything. Eric says, player of the year, Morj running hate campaigns against Sabo and Law. They're not even hate campaigns, man. It's just talking sense into people. People are genuinely like, Sabo, play of the year, for what? Being saved by Cobra? Not doing anything to any Gorosei? What's the play? Alright, I'm just gonna throw in... I think we're gonna leave play of the year. I think because I think the Vegapunk speech would probably just still win. So it's not worth it to run it again. But noted on the Lucia Kingdom and the Gorosei. Justin Holland, thanks for the 5. World government as culprits reveal could still be part of the next arc if Luffy meets Morgans for an interview with Vivi's assistants. Yeah, they could be. I'm coming around to the idea that maybe the Holy Knights somehow make it into... This is kind of crazy, but I think the Holy Knights could somehow make it into the Navy backfight. I don't know. Because it depends on the rules that they want to play by. Like, if it's like anybody that shows up, they have to accept the terms. Because it's basically kind of been heavily implied that the world government has the final road poneglyph. So the Strats need to get it somehow, you know? Ochi Shake says, all the Gorosei transformed against Sabo the law. Yeah, so I mean, like, what's the play, though? Like, what do you mean? Like, it's cool that they transformed, and then he ran away. If you need Sabo to have successfully done something against them for it to be a play, right? Like, you're just giving an excuse for why he couldn't do anything against him. That's fine. I'm not saying Sabo should have been able to do anything against the Gorosei. I'm just saying it's not that means that it's a W for Sabo. You know? That's a solid defense for why he was useless against the Gorosei. But that doesn't turn into a win for Sabo or a play for Sabo. I missed my super for Sabo. Fuck, Remix King. Oh, hold on. Remix King, thanks for the 2. Sabo play is triggering the Lucia end. No, but Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, fucks. I think I just read the Lucia end, and I just started talking about that. Unless I'm getting the order of things wrong. Yeah, Sabo basically got Lucia Kingdom killed, huh? No, I think they were going to kill him anyway, right? It's just whatever's closest. Jay So, thanks a lot for your first super, a sticker, or something like that. Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Sabo is no bag? Yeah. He's a devil fruit. I'm just kidding. Sabo's good at hockey, but it's armament hockey. So it's, kind of a knockoff of the good one, All right, assist leader, let's do it. I think it's just Sabo, like Sanji, or I missed a couple other supers. What did I miss? I'm sorry. Hold on. Yeah, it was a coincidence. It wasn't Sabo's fault. I'm sorry. What's even going on? Oh, okay. Lucia, I read Cigar Verks, and that's what I mixed up with Remix Kings. I don't see the other one I'm missing, unless I'm crazy. I got Justin Holland. Jaso, don't see anything. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to Sanji. I'll say assist leader. Assist leader, Sanji. Is Joy Boy even fair to add in? I don't know if Joy Boy's even fair to add in, man. I don't think Joy Boy's even fair to add in. I can do Joy Boy. I don't know. I'll add Frankie. Zoro saved the Sunny. The Sunny would have been just fine. The Sunny is a sturdy ship. Okay, looks like Sanji's taking assist leader. JWP, thanks for the 2. Morj, that Holy idea is peak. Holy Knight idea is peak. I need the Davy back fight. I probably shouldn't even talk about that just here, because that's, like, honestly a video idea, but, yeah, I definitely think it's very, very possible. Alright, Sanji's... Oh, well, you guys voted. I'm gonna put Sanji for assist leader as well. Okay, MVP. I think we can actually remove the no Luffy clause. Missed 5 super. Thanks, Akash Panda. I'm sorry, man. From Mr. Cabeza Blanca. Play of the year. Respect Katarina Devon's name. Secured Saturn's image and maybe memory. Recovered a mole from a top tier contender. The straw, it's all Chekhov's gun. I agree that that's really big. And maybe we could have talked about that more. I just think that the Vegapunk speech is just... We fucking devoted like 15 chapters to it or something. Like 10 chapters, right? And then the pre-planning, all of that stuff. I think there's a lot of really major things that could apply for Play of the Year for this arc. Because so much insane shit happened. I just don't think that... I think Vegapunk's speech ultimately stands out as like the biggest event. And that was also the most masterfully orchestrated event. Even if it left us wanting for certain things that would logically make sense if you have that opportunity. But speech is still a huge deal, I think. It just does the most impact, highest impact for the entire planet, you know? Okay. MVP. I think we can remove the no. I think Luffy's still the MVP. Because even with Emmet's play, I'm still going to put Luffy for MVP. I think Emmet, even with Emmet's play, like the big play that he made, like Luffy's just sustained effort throughout the entire arc. Like starting with the Lucci situation, like Lucci, then handling Kizaru, 1v1, then handling Kizaru and Saturn at the same time, which led to 5 Gorosei being summoned. And then from then on, like Luffy's just running point on like the entire field, right? Like he's taking on Valkyrie, with the Giants' help and stuff, but like at one point he's taking on like Valkyrie, Jupiter, and Saturn at the same time. Then he has to run a bit, but even in the process, like he's keeping Valkyrie occupied. He's beating up Jupiter on the side. He gets to the ship. He and Bonnie beat up Saturn again. You add in other stuff like the the coaching of Bonnie, getting her into like Gear 5th and everything like that. So you add that stuff in. Then like he's the one that ultimately orchestrates sending Mars out of the battlefield. Sending Mars flying. Like Emmet had the single biggest play, but MVP across the entire arc is Luffy, right? It's kind of like a LeBron-Kyrie situation where Kyrie had the game-winning shot, in the 2016 finals. Like that's Emmet. But Luffy had the biggest, Vegapunk had the biggest play, right? But Luffy across the entire arc had the most impact, even above Vegapunk and Emmet, right? Vegapunk obviously impacts the entire world the most, but Luffy in general, like, the actions here also played a huge part in impacting the entire world. And I think you also have to skew the ratio of, like, impacting the entire world versus impacting, like, the main plot and the protagonist, like, the actual protagonist of the arc's efforts and everything. I still think Luffy's the MVP, personally. He just did too much, and he's responsible for getting Lilith out of there, which is what they're calling a win. I think there's just too much. I would still give it to Luffy. I think Zoro just did Zoro most out of breath player. Esteban BR says, but the Strats were gonna die if not for Emmet or Food Mystery Man. Yeah, but I don't think it comes down to, like, they would have, like, it, like, again, like, if Ray Allen didn't hit that shot in Game 6, then, yeah, the Heat lose. But there's also so many other things happening that lead up to that, right? Like, that doesn't mean that Ray Allen was the MVP of that series over LeBron, Like, you could just easily say, if you remove Luffy from that arc, I think a lot of Strats very possibly just die. You know what I mean? Like, I think Bonnie probably dies at some point. Because Luffy had to defend her a lot from Gorosei. Luffy kept several of the Gorosei occupied for large stretches of time. When Kizaru showed up to the first time around to kill Vegapunk, it was just weaklings like Usopp and stuff there. Kizaru might have just offed them, right? Like, Kizaru, while he has a soft spot for Vegapunk, he doesn't give a shit about pirates, right? He's ready to execute them. We saw in Marineford, he's like, oh, bad guys showed up, I can just execute them, you know? Like, just because there's not a singular moment where Luffy saved everybody, that doesn't change the fact that over the course of the arc, Luffy probably did the most work in helping the protagonist's efforts succeed, and to me. But we're going to do a poll. We'll do a poll. Miss Cigar Super again? What am I doing, man? Let me see. I'm sorry, guys. Cigarfrick, thanks for the 2. Emu has to be MVP for Leloucia, Saturn, Cobra, Dead, and motherfucking Garling. I don't think Emu's MVP, man. We could throw him in if you guys really want. Kenny says, what did that bum Robin do? She cried about Saul and then didn't help against Saturn. So at one point. Linskov says, no way Kuma didn't win anything. I think if we had one thing like best character, then Kuma would win. But like in terms of plot impact, Kuma didn't do that much. You know what I mean? Came through, saved Bonnie from Saturn. Like, he can't do that. Like, you guys gotta remember, Kuma is the most disabled character in One Piece, period. He is essentially, like, if we're talking in basketball terms, Kuma is essentially like a dude with a broken ACL, broken Achilles, all that shit, you know? Who hobbled into the game for a moment to, like, help out, but in terms of, you can't help the game that much, you know? You can't do that much, you know? He's essentially a wheelchair basketball player at this point, you know? He's not, he's not, like... No shit, Kuma didn't, like, win any of these categories. What the fuck's he supposed to win? I think best character stuff is his best shot, but then you all said Kuma, like, Kizaru wins that, so, you know. Alright, let's see MVP. People are like, how did a dude that has no conscious brain and no, like a barely functioning body and can almost not even use his fruit anymore, how come this dude didn't win anything? It's like, the fuck is he supposed to win? What are the expectations for this dude? Alright, MVP? Cobra was actively in the wheelchair, bro. Alright, I'll throw an E-Myth as usual, throw Luffy, I guess Vegapunk. I don't know who else counts for MVPs. Cigar suggested Emu, I could throw him in. Kuma wins Best Father? Yeah. Caleb, cool guy. Thanks for being a Yarn Coach. You remember for 17 months, man. Saturn MVP. He saved the protagonist before the conflict started. Yeah, Saturn really fucked up. Saturn really fucked up. That's why he got killed. He got what he deserved. I wonder who would have won. People did vote Emu. A lot of people voted Emu. Okay, if we took out Luffy, what would happen? Let me do this again. If I take out Luffy, am I supposed to put, who do I put in? Sanji or something? I think Garp would be my MVP, actually. Garp or Vegapunk would be my... Because Vegapunk did do a lot, just by virtue of having 6 bodies. So I think Vegapunk would be my MVP, if not for Luffy. Because the satellites really did do a lot over the course of everything. Yeah, like, if you count Stella and all the satellites, then it's probably Vegapunk to me. If not Vegapunk, then it's either E-Myth or Garp. Add Saturn. Is anyone gonna replace... Is anyone replacing Luffy? I don't think anyone's replacing Luffy, right? I think just for the sake of, like, we're tired... well, I'm tired. I think I'm just gonna have to put in Luffy. Did I read Carson Cox Super? Thanks, Akash Band. I'm sorry. To fix power scaling, should live react to Luffy 1v1 Croc? Should live action have Luffy 1v1 Croc? Have the group of Strats versus Crocodile. Should it be as is with Robin and Luffy versus him, but bigger role for Robin? I wouldn't be surprised if maybe the live action had a bigger role for Robin, but I personally think that Luffy versus Crocodile, like the live action, they can change the power scaling if they want. They can just make Crocodile not seem as strong later down the line in Marineford, you know? Like at the time of Alabasta, you know, it was clear that Luffy was a little out of his depth, but, you know, it still made sense. Like, the things that were happening made sense because that's what we were told at the time. We were told that, yeah, Luffy's punches can, like, really knock out Crocodile because basically what it seemed like was that Luffy, just through physical fighting was better than Crocodile's physical fighting, but Crocodile had the broken devil fruit that Luffy had to work around, right? What changed was that in Marineford, it started to feel like physically Crocodile might have been on a whole different level than what was implied in Alabasta. That was where it got murky, right? Because everyone understood that his Devil Fruit was much better than Luffy's in Alabasta. It's in Marineford that his physical stats seem to be, in terms of durability and just like trying to clash with people that he had no business clashing with, that's when it got confusing. It was the physical stats part of it. His Devil Fruit, he didn't do anything new in Marineford that he wasn't doing against Luffy in Alabasta. So with that in mind, like, should they change the power scaling? No, because I think that, like, that fight, the story of that fight, like, they'd actually better not change that fight, because the story of that fight is about Luffy as an individual who's trying to become Pirate King and trying to climb the ladder by hitting walls like Crocodile and pushing through them. It is a personal test of his capability and his potential to reach the top of the pirate world. That he needs to overcome Crocodile himself with no help. That is like a fundamental part of the fight. And it comes down to his final fucking words to Crocodile being, I am going to surpass you. Like, the chapter that he beats Crocodile is called Surpassing the Opponent, right? So, can't be a group effort. It changes the entire story of the fight, the entire point of the fight, you know? I already don't like the idea of, like, Luffy versus Arlong in the live action, missing the entire point where it's like, Luffy says something like, I can't beat Arlong, but I can, like, destroy Nami's room or some shit, and then that way, that'll destroy everything that Arlong, values or something like that. Luffy did ultimately beat Arlong. He did ultimately beat Arlong straight up anyway, so it felt fine in the end, but the whole point of this, Luffy versus Arlong is establishing that Luffy can do what the rest of his crewmates can't do, which is beat Arlong. The moment you have Luffy saying, yeah, maybe I can't beat you, Arlong, but I can destroy everything that you care about, that misses the point of the fight and what it's supposed to establish for Luffy in relation to his crew. It still feels thematically fitting with the angle live action's going, but I hope they don't change Crocodile shit, you know? Anyway. Yeah, so if I recall, Luffy won this poll. Alright, so MVP of the arc, Luffy. I think that this is an arc where, you had enough other people involved that, it's fair to include Luffy for the MVP vote. Because there's still arguments for other characters. Other arcs like Wano, there's no argument for anyone outside of Luffy. You know, or a lot of these arcs. So yeah. And I'm not going to do best outfits because I'm just fucking tired as fuck. I'm sorry, guys. It's just the way it is. But yeah, it looks like most improved. I think my choice and the people's choice lined up a lot more this time. Everyone agreed, or most people agreed Kobe is most improved. I think Bonnie would have been a good option as well. Sixth Man, the Giants, Dorian Brogy came through. Maybe a little unfair to pair them together, but I don't care. It's kind of like a Johnny Osaka type thing. They're essentially one character. Best character arc, Kizaru. I forgot about him, but that makes sense. Most compelling. Best change. Defensive player of the year, Emeth and Garp, that's where you differ in terms of what you value, right? Because Emeth had the most impact objectively, but it was through someone else's hockey. Whereas Garp did the most impressive shit, you know? And protected the most. He had to do the most in terms of, protecting people. Akash Panda says, Morj, make sure you got all the supers. Okay, what I'm going to do in a second is stop the screen share, shift over to my other thing. I'm going to do it all very slowly so that we're not fucking up the stream. Not fucking up the internet, okay? So I'm going to stop the screen share. I'm going to close these tabs. Then I'm going to look at the supers tab to make sure I'm not missing anything. Biggest bust, Kid, no question. Rookie of the year, Vegapunk. Essentially the most impactful new character that came up. Coach of the year, Garp. Luffy has a good argument as well. Buggy had a good argument as well in the end. We'll see. Maybe Buggy feels even more impactful a few arcs more down the line. Play of the year, Vegapunk's speech. Just makes sense. We spent so many chapters dedicated to it, changed the whole world, left out some key details, but still just the most impactful. It's just the highlight of Egghead. The thing that everyone's going to fucking remember at Egghead is, Vegapunk's fucking speech, right? That's the Egghead incident. The Egghead incident itself is the big speech, right? That was the incident that was hyped up. Assist leader went to Sanji. Controversial character for the arc in terms of, should he have deserved certain awards and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, I think most people seem to be on board that, he did show up and help out in a lot of different spots, right? And then MVP Luffy, I think this is the most contested Luffy's had for MVP that he would have for an arc. just because so many other people contributed. But yeah, just the prolonged, consistent effort from chapter 1 to the chapter 70 or whatever. I think Luffy has it. So yeah, good shit. Did I get everything? I'll do a quick check. Second. All right, let me close things. All right. Don't want anything to break. Oh, fuck. It's already doing shit. Hold on. I don't know if this shit's gonna load. Hold on. Give me a second here. I'm doing everything slow. Very slow. Oh, I'm seeing now you guys got the Streamlights up to 200. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Just checking past supers. Give me a second. Carson Cock, thanks for the 2. Luffy got S-Snake to undo Stone, MVP for show. Yeah! I forgot about that shit. She did get her to do that. Alright, just skimming here. I think we got stuff from before. I think we got this shit. Alright. Yeah, I think we got everything. I think we're good. All right, everybody. Thank you very, very, very much for tuning in. Yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. We got another chapter coming this week. I have a feeling it's going to be a really fucking good chapter just because we're in that in-between arc section that's just going to have crazy shit. So if it's anything like chapter 1125, we got probably a really crazy set of chapters coming up. So, yeah, good shit. And thank you for